Hello, good morning and welcome. You've tuned into ET Now. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now. I'm Varun Hirimat and we're also going to be joined by Cheryl D'Souza in just a minute. Let's take a look at the markets while we wait for her. Nifty is in a very positive breath today. You have 40 out of 50 stocks declining, right? So literally very little that can go wrong today for our market, at least as of now. And we are pretty much at the middle point of the day, slightly ebbed off from where we opened, but we're holding fort at 15,300. No worries at all, firmly above there. Now, what's interesting today is banking stocks and financial services are making a sharp comeback. So if I just look at the Nifty, Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv, two top leaders on the Nifty, joined closely by Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, and then an HDFC. So the top five gainers on the Nifty today, all from the financials pack, both from financial services and banking index. So those are particularly shining today. I'd just like to flag that off. What's also encouraging is that the small caps and mid caps are really participating. So the mid cap index is up 1.5%. So it's outgrowing Nifty by around 50%. And the banking index is up 2%. Financial services index also up 2%. Now, while financials are leading the charge, it's heartening to know that auto today is also doing well, up around 0.5%. You then have the metal index, which is up 0.3%. The PSU bank index is also not too far behind, up 0.5%. Of course, the privates are leading today, but the PSU also pulling their weight a bit. Just in terms of what's not doing quite well today, it's select stock action. There's no clear theme. Perhaps you can just read into the fact that two of the top losers on the Nifty today are insurance companies. SBI Life and HDFC Life seen some routine profit booking down 1% each. You then have Dr. Reddy's, which is cooling off a bit, a Grasim, which is down 1.5%, and a TCS today, which is cooling off slightly, around 0.8% down. So I'd say bulls firmly in control. Broader indices all doing well. We have select stocks that are under pressure today, but very positive market breadth this morning. In light of that, let's take a look at the BNSN stock cloud today, see what we have for you. Some interesting companies that are making their way into the cloud this morning, and while they're up on your screens, let's just take a look. I think as we enter the fag end of results season, a lot of these names that are popping up on your screen are being motivated by result outcomes, right? So we have Info Edge, which is a combination of results and, of course, Zomato listing in focus. Results a bit muted, but then again, it's had a prolific run, so no issues if you see slight profit booking in an Info Edge. We then have Garden Reach, which has posted some very good numbers. Profit has doubled and revenues are almost back to 100% of pre-COVID levels. You then have CDSL, which has seen record DMAT registrations and it's surging away. Just shows the retail participation in our equity markets of late. Apollo Hospitals as well on numbers. Dilip Bilkon as well on some decent numbers. Bharti Airtel, which is looking to announce a big strategic development in 2 days from now. So keep your eyes out on that stock. Deepak Fertilizers, strong to mixed results depending on how you view it. India Bulls Housing as well on the back of results. And Tata Motors as well, in focus today as far as the BNSN stock cloud is concerned. So those are some stocks we wanted to bring to your attention for various reasons, and of course they should be buoyant throughout the day. So keep an eye out both on the volumes and the price action of the BNSN stock cloud. All right, we're now ready to talk technicals and fundamentals with both our experts and, of course, get a couple of viewer queries addressed as well. For all of those of you who've been writing into us with your queries, we'll get them answered today. So we're joined by two experts. On the technicals, we have Kunal Bothra, as always, and on the fundamentals, we have Ashish Maheshwari. Good morning, and thank you, both gentlemen, for joining us here this morning. Kunal, 15,300, firmly holding fort. No signs of retreat, in sight. And just look at the breadth on the Nifty today and on the mid-cap index, in fact. Very little that seems to be going wrong for our market right now. What's your view? And what are your calls for our viewers, of course?
Again, I would say a buoyant market yet again after 2 days of, I would say, very sluggish and a lackluster kind of an move for the index. It's finally good to see the indices back into the swing. and that's again perked up many of the mid cap, small cap, and individual large cap names as well. So it's good to see the participation back again. So you have mix of the high risk stocks like the banking, the real estate, the NBFC pack, which is doing extremely well today, and then you have the other names like pharma, few IT names, and such other stocks which are also doing pretty well. So again, it's a good mix in terms of sector breadth and the stock specific movement as well. We've scaled past about that 15,250 mark, which is acting as a bit of a resistance for the index. So assuming if we close above this 15,250 and we add up a cushion of say another 100 points from those levels, so if we close above 15,350 for example, then that 250 level on the Nifty 15,250 level should then act as a strong short-term support. So I think it's good to see the participation back again, maybe another 50 points higher, and then trailing stop losses could be tailed to almost 15,250 on the indices. So in that light, I would continue to suggest bullish calls on stock-specific front as well, to buy calls. And the first which I'm suggesting is about Tata Power. Interestingly, the stock is forming a bullish flag pattern. We've seen a very strong 3 quarters of price performance for Tata Power, fourth quarter in the running. And I think at current levels as well, I believe that the stock should be one of the few candidates from being mid double digits to now trying to scale past about the 3-digit mark as well. So would maintain the bullish stance on Tata Power. Even from a short-term charts, would expect a bullish pennant breakout on the stock about this 89.5 marks. Buy with a target of approximately 100, and stop loss could be kept at 85. The second which I'm suggesting is more from the high risk stable. It's about DLF. Now, generally what happens is if the market goes into more of a consolidation mode, we typically see risk on mode being tapered off, and we generally see more migration towards risk off stocks. But now in this last few weeks as well, pre-budget and post-budget, we've not seen the risk on mode being tapered off, and I think that's a bullish sign for stocks like DLF, which have managed to scale past and hold past about their major resistances. So 300, which was the previous resistance for the stock, I think now should act as a major support for the stock, and I believe these rallies would pick up pace going forward as well for a stock like DLF. So more of a positional bet, a buy on DLF with a target of almost 360 and stop us at 300.
All right, those are the calls coming in from Kunal this morning. That is buy on Tata Power as well as buy on DLF. Good morning, Ashish. Cheryl also joining in. And what are your high risk and low risk ideas for our viewers this morning?
My high risk idea is a software company, which is a small cap company, but riding the digital transformation boom. And in my view, this is a stock which can give 50% upside in next 1 year. Look at Kelton Technologies. This is a company which is primarily focused in the US market and working in the digital side, from where they derive almost 78% of their revenue. Their last quarterly numbers were really good, and they did one of the highest profit of around 22 crores in last quarter. If we see one previous quarter, profit was around 15 crore in previous quarter. So this is something which we can look at it. And again, they are having 300 plus clients, and primarily into digital side of business. They launched almost 3 new products also in last quarter, where they are getting good traction. So this is a high risk, high return idea which can give you 50% upside in the next 1 year. As far as low risk, low return idea is concerned, I like Adani Total Gas now. After arrival of Total Gas, now they are having a complete value chain in as far as gas is concerned, because from gas transportation to ultimately taking gas out to home and businesses, now they are having complete cycle. So they already have almost 4.6 lakhs consumer through where they are supplying pipe gas and continuously winning the new cities. Last quarterly numbers were also very good. And if we see even the floating stock in the company has hardly 4-5% left if we exclude the institutional holding. So this is a stock with my view can give around 30 to 40% return in the next 1 year time. So Adani Total Gas can be bought at this price.
All right, so those are the calls coming in from Ashish this morning. That is Kelton Tech as well as Adani Total Gas. All right, on that note, I'll ask Kunal as well as Ashish to hold on. We'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. Stay tuned, queries on the other side.
Hi, welcome back to ET Now. You're still watching Buy Now, Sell Now, and it's time to get on board with our viewer queries. So let's kick it off. The first one from Pankaj Gupta, who's written to us, and he's bought 4,000 shares of Diwan Housing, DHFL. Please share the outlook. Is it being delisted or merged with Piramal? So more of a fundamental question, and Ashish, we'll come to you to really understand what value DHFL brings to Piramal or has by itself. But Kunal, on the chart, and for a query like this, would you look at the DHFL chart, the Piramal chart? I don't know. How are you reading into this?
Well, I will look at the Piramal chart and I will not look at DHFL chart, because frankly there's nothing much more left on the DHFL chart, frankly, because now it's become more of a circuit kind of trigger. But then for Piramal Enterprise, I think this is a very strong move, and I don't know if traders are really looking at this stock as as one of the better alternatives from many of the NBFC names, because I think Piramal Enterprise had underperformed. So there was this huge wave of underperformance for Piramal Enterprise as compared to many of these NBFC names in the last 6 months. Forget about the last two and a half odd years. But I think in the last 6-7 months there was a huge wave of underperformance for Piramal Enterprise. And if you look at the movement in last 1 week, there is a very strong signal which the markets are throwing that there is a sudden inclination towards open interest or high positions being taken for Piramal Enterprises. The delivery volumes have nudged up higher for the stock. You see the price actions, so and now you're seeing a steady price follow through on Piramal Enterprise. So these are all strong signals which emerge for a stock when it's about to kickstart a new trend for itself. So I think Piramal Enterprise could be a good bet even from current levels. I think if I'm not wrong, it's trading at 1795, 1800 levels approximately. So I think even from current levels, I would expect a dash towards 2000, 2200, even if it's more of a near-term to positional bet. So I'm bullish on Piramal Enterprise, and I think that's a much better alternative at current levels. 2000 to 2200 could be a near-term target for the stock.
In from Kunal. Ashish, what's your take on DHFL considering what is happening with it? The viewer wants to know what's the outlook for DHFL going ahead.
I don't think so. There's going to be merged with Piramal Enterprises. In my view, they will keep it as a separate entity only. And one thing we need to be mentally prepared is there will be a lot of reduction in share capital in DHFL because there's a acquisition through NCLT route. So, like how banks are taking almost 70% haircut, I think shareholders will also need to part with their shares. So, but in my view, you can remain invested for some time, and I'm expecting a price of 25 to 13 short run, because now there's clarity that Piramal is there, and over a period of time the business will be revived. So you can remain invested for short-term gains, in my view.
That is Ashish's call coming in for DHFL. All right, let's move on and let's get on board our next viewer query, which is from Shiv Prasad, and he has two queries. He's saying he's bought Balkrishna Industries at 1,700 rupees per share, and he's bought Torrent Pharma at 2,653 rupees per share. He wants to know what's the 1 month horizon, whether he should hold the stock or sell the stock, and also wants the experts to suggest a stop loss for it. So Kunal, I'll come first to you for both Balkrishna Industries as well as Torrent Pharma. How are the charts looking for both of these counters, and what should our viewer do with his current holdings?
I think you can stay invested in Balkrishna Industries. I think that stock has gone through a mean reversion process. I think the stock had also reacted negatively post results as well, if I'm not wrong, which was there last week or the week prior to that. So I think the mean reversion process seems to be getting over for Balkrishna Industries. The sector overall has done exceptionally well. Tire names, MRF, Apollo Tires, etc. So there is a strong wave of a rally which is quite visible into these auto ang space, and I think Balkrishna Industries should do pretty well. But the only catch is if you're in from a very short term time horizon, then probably that the stock may take some bit of more time, consolidate over here for maybe another couple of weeks before it tries to nudge up higher from current levels. So I think the catch over here is in terms of time frame. But I think if you're ready to hold it for another, say, 2 to 3 months at least, then I believe a possibility of 1800 for Balkrishna Industries is very much high. For Torrent Pharma, on the other hand, the stock has been struggling a bit. I think it's still trading below the 200-day moving average, if I'm not wrong, and the near-term supports for Pharma is very closer to 25, 40, 25, 20 levels. So another 2 or 3% down from current levels. So it's trading at 2600 approximately. So another 2 or 3% down from current levels, and it could be going through some serious breach of support level. So if you're wanting a stop loss, then I believe 25.20 could be an ideal stop loss for Torrent Pharma.
Okay. So you can invest, but there is some downside risk. Ashish, how are you viewing both these companies?
See, Balkrishna Industries, I like to advise for exit. Again, the reason is post-result when management announced some big capex plan, which is something like institutional investors are not liking. So I'll advise like investor to exit, and instead you look at CEAT tires if you want to remain in the same industry. CEAT also came out with excellent set of numbers. Profit went up by almost 250% in this particular quarter. So CEAT has got a lot of potential, and it can recover the capital that you are going to lose in BKT. But in short term, this is the only alternative because Balkrishna Industries will take some time to absorb that particular selling, and CEAT can give you better returns. As far as Torrent Pharma is concerned, again, results were not that great and slightly below expectation because Brazil and US markets are not doing that great, and only India and Europe in markets are doing good. But again, a ray of hope is that they are taking price hike as well as new product launches are coming in this particular quarter. So instead of if you a view for 1 month, if you can take view of 3 months, I'm sure that you are going to get your invested amount back.
All right, Ashish. We read you loud and clear there. So I think both our experts advise a bit of caution with both these stocks. I hope you've heard that. Let's move on then. Ravish Kohli of Delhi has written to us, and of course he's evaluating Vodafone, and who on the street really isn't. It's been on the tip of everyone's tongue. And he'd like to know if at the current market price he can enter, and to what extent will the fundraise cushion the company's financial position. So Kunal, technically, what is the Vodafone chart calling out to you?
Well, I think it's an average kind of a chart, frankly, Varun. Yes, you can say that from those March lows, the stock has given returns of 3x, 4x from 3.5 odd rupees, if I'm not wrong, to almost 12 plus rupees where it's currently trading. But then, the stock seems to have, missed time in terms of firing because, what happens is when the markets are into full throttle, the stock somehow remains very sideways. And when suddenly the markets go into a consolidation, you see, Vodafone Idea picking up pace and then showing signs of a couple of days of price action recovery. So that's a stock which is, sort of detached from the market movement, and it becomes very difficult to anticipate that, when the stock would probably, get back into the thick of strong momentum. So it's remained sideways for quite some time, and I think if that's the case, I believe it's possible that Vodafone Idea could remain in this range of closer to 10.5, 10 as a support, and closer to 13.5 to 14 as a resistance. So it can remain in this band of 2.5 to 3.5 odd rupees for some more time. But I think the breakout or the bigger breakout for Vodafone Idea would probably happen once the stock scales past about that 14 levels, or if the stock breaks below that 10 level. I think these are the two very important bands for the stock, and I think a real degree of momentum, or a stronger degree of momentum, would probably come by if the stock breaks past this band. So if you're looking to buy the stock, and if you're looking to add get participated on momentum, then I would suggest to buy Vodafone Idea only if the stock crosses about that 14 level.
Right, that's the call coming in from Kunal for Vodafone Idea. Ashish, what's your take on Vodafone Idea? The viewer wants to know whether he should buy it at the current market price, and also he wants to understand to what extent will the fundraise actually cushion the company's financial position. So if you could shed some light on that as well.
Yes, this is again $1 million question. How much funds they are able to raise, and the entire street is just waiting for quite some time about this particular fundraising. So, but it's going to happen for sure. Only thing is the timing and the price is something which management might be negotiating with investors. So my suggestion will be to add this stock in any fall somewhere. If you get it again at 1160, 1165 will be good price to enter. and you need to be slightly patient with this particular stock because this is not a trading kind of stock. So my suggestion will be if you have a 6 months time horizon in mind, then you can remain invested. You'll get approximately 20-25% kind of upside from that particular price point. Last Saturday quarterly numbers were also not that good that could cheer the stock price today. But nevertheless, I think fundraising is going to be only trigger in Vodafone Idea in coming months. So 6-month time horizon, 25% kind of upside, 1150, 1160 entry point.
All right. Well, thanks so much for that. Let's take a quick break here on Buy Now, Sell Now. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more market updates in just a minute.